Hi, it's me, Silver the Whack. Um, I think I posted yesterday's second vlog. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I did. Because I was drinking the other tea, and I'll check if I did post it. If I didn't, well, nobody's watching this aside from my friend anyway. So thanks, friend. Uh, and if anyone else sees these vlogs and stuff, um, yeah. Hey, how's it going? If you don't like me, there's something nice you can do, which is called clicking back and leaving me alone because I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not even tagging my videos, so if you stumble upon them, I'm sorry. Fix your algorithm somehow. It's not really my fault. I'm not pushing anything by adding tags. So, yeah. But anyway, this isn't tea, obviously. The mug is different. The cozy is also different. This is just coffee. Because as I said in my previous vlog, I don't know which one, I will be drinking the 22nd on Sunday, the 5th, and then the 23rd I will be drinking on the 6th, because that's when Christmas officially ends. This is a little thing that I made a while back. Since well, I've been doing in these vlogs is talk about knitting. This is just a little pouch that I made to put the supplies inside, and I ended up having to put a piece of hard paper in it to be able to have two pockets, so that the things wouldn't like slip out, since they are tapestry needles and cable needles. I have yet to learn how to make cables, though someone was explaining it, and I think it wasn't that hard to understand, but I think I missed a few steps. I don't know where, but yeah, I have not been able to make a cable yet. Uh, the only twist that I made was with that headband situation. It's not a situation. It's good. Okay, come on. Let's give me a bit of credit. This is nice. Come on, this is nice. Even the sewing isn't bad. Like I've been hand sewing for a while, so I mean, come on. This is good. It looks like a turban. It's just a headband with a little twist. It's a bit dramatic because of the chunky yarn and the fisherman rib, which is quite stretchy. But I think this is nice. Like, come on, it's nice. And to make this, you have to cast on an odd number of stitches, uh, and for chunkier yarns, which was this case, I casted on 19 stitches. Maybe I could have afforded to go 17 and made it a little less wide, but I think I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this, as it is. For a first try, that was great, honestly, yeah. And these are my coasters that I have no idea what I will do with them, but I'll probably give them to someone. who likes them, or wants them, or I don't know. Yeah, and I'll probably make more and gift them, like try to make um, a pattern that's a bit more on the less like textured like this one, which is a kind of mossy hurdle stitch pattern thing. Um, and my mom said that it would be hard to put like glasses on it, and I was like, yeah, that was never my intention. Like when I made this, I was thinking about putting like mugs on it, things that are quite heavy. So this would be perfect for that for that kind of cup, not exactly glasses. Though you could put glasses on them depending on the glass. If it's one of those glasses with a foot, then it's not a good idea probably. But if it's like a flat glass, then yeah, it also works with that. Because this is chunky yarn, so the texture is quite visible and prominent. So yeah, that's the update. That's not the update on the knitted. This is just me rambling about knitting. Maybe I should start talking more about knitting and my journey and make knitting my like escape this year, along with the writing. Yeah, and also about the project that I started yesterday. This one. Yeah, so I wanted to do a different type of stitch, and as I was making the second row, I realized what was going to happen, and I did it anyway. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is just one by one rib, which is a pattern that I've already tried. And that happened because I made a mistake, which was casting on an even number of stitches, and you have to cast on an odd number of stitches, unless, and the person that I saw the tutorial first said that you can cast on any number of stitches as long as you do it a certain way. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. But then I went ahead and just did one by one rib instinctively. And then I watched another video to see if I was right. And yeah, they said, oh, this is something that beginners say happen when they try to do this type of stitch. And I was like, yeah, I'm a beginner. Yes, I am a beginner. I know, but I also learn very quickly because I know the basic stitches already. I know how to make basic increases and decreases. I know how to cast on and cast off on pattern. So yeah, I that wasn't exactly a mistake. I mean, when I was doing it, I was like, yeah, this is just going to turn into a rib, isn't it? And it did. And I'm not exactly displeased with it. I will be going ahead and keeping the rib situation going and see what I end up with, since I don't have a lot of yarn for this. We'll see what I can do with that. Maybe I can even do another headband. And I will do the other project with this yarn that I have right here. This blue. I have two. Rolls of it. So it should be enough to do what I want to do, which is also a simple project. I am not going to tackle anything difficult as of right now. I have not yet tried knitting in the round, and that's also because I don't have needles that would allow me to. It's past 10 minutes. Okay, that's fine. Coffee break. Um, I don't have needles that allow me to knit in the round, so I have not tried that yet. There are probably ways to do that without uh, round needles to knit in the round. There's a specific kind of needle to do that, and I don't have them. Um, uh, but that's not really something that you need to know. I mean, it's good to know because then you are able to knit like things like socks and hats and sleeves and even legs, I suppose, if you want to knit pants. Bottoms, like things that are round, um, but you can knit that flat and then sew. It doesn't give quite the neat, quite uh, the same kind of knit finish as something that was knitted in the round to begin with. But if you are able to sew it right, then it'll be fine. It's fine. Especially with things like socks and hats. Like most manufactured, mass produced winter hats are sewed like in place, and you can see the seams. So yeah, that's not exactly a problem. I will try to learn to do that when I get my hands on a pair of round needles. I don't have that many needles. My many pairs of needles. I have three pairs of needles. Three. That's three. That's three. Yeah. Can you tell that I was a legend at maths? Um, yeah, when I get my hands on one a pair of those, then yeah. What else about my knitting? I have more like wools that I got my hands on. Like I have a grey one that I didn't use. I have a bit more of grey. I got this very sneaky one, and this also very sneaky one, and another sneaky one that's rainbow colored, but it's inside the bag, so I don't want to get my. Yeah, I want to pull it out. This one is just in a different bag, and my initial bag is too small to fit all of that. I mean, I guess it's not, but I'm not going to bother. Honestly, maybe I'll get a bigger bag eventually, or I'll make a bigger bag if I happen to get my hands on some money and I buy sewing machine, because I'm not about to sew a bag again. I sewed a bag when I went to watch Barbie the movie. I dressed up for it, like as a joke, obviously. I got myself a pink dress and I made myself a pink bag. And I hand sewed the whole thing. I was going crazy with that bag. And now it's just in the closet with things inside. Because I don't use that. Like, it's too flashy and tacky and pink. And I don't. I mean, I'm not against pink, but that thing is just too flashy. I don't like to draw attention to myself. Uh, but yeah, well, so that thing turned into a 1x1 rib, and we'll see what I end up with. I'll just use up all the yarn in the wool since it's the only one with this thickness. So if I end up with something lengthy enough, maybe it'll turn into something decent, but I'll use up all of that, and I'll use the blue one to make the other thing that I wanted to make yesterday, and that's fine because I have more needles, and the small needles wouldn't have been good for that anyway. So, like, blessing in disguise, maybe, because like the tutorial that I was seeing to do that project, God, this wall paint is really, really bad. I just scraped it a little with the needle and some of it came off. Jesus. The tutorial that I was seeing was using a yarn that was pretty much that thickness, but I saw another one with chunkier yarn, and I saw a tutorial that said that if your yarn is a bit chunkier, then you can use less rolls. So I'm hoping that those two will be enough to make the thing that I want to make. I'm not spoiling what it is. For my friend. Hey! Friend, and if you're not my friend and you're watching this, you're also my friend now. And to finish this off, since it's already reaching 20 minutes and nobody's watching this anyway, so whatever. I have crochet needles, and my mom gave me hers, and I can pause this and get them out of the... So, these would be classic crochet hooks. They are very small, and they are to use with thread that's this thick, and I'm pretty bad at it as of right now, and I ended up having to pull everything out of the bag. Anyway, but the other hooks that I have are like this. They are made of plastic, and they are a bit bigger. I even have a really chunky one. This one. This is the chunky boy. Yeah, noise. So this is the smaller of the plastic ones. This is the one above, and the chunky boy. And the funniest thing is that I can't really use them. Like, I made this, but it was just by fiddling around and playing with the yarn. And then my mom was trying to teach me how to make something nicer. And see how neat it is compared to that fucking thing. Yeah, but I still haven't gotten the hang of it. And then she showed me something that she made with those minuscule needles. And I was like, yeah, I'm many light years away of being able to do that, especially with the very, very tiny needles. Well, yeah, we're already at 20 minutes and I haven't heard anything. This is just a vlog, come on. Nobody's watching this except my friend who's like interested. So hey, I hope you're enjoying seeing the yarn stash. Oh, I also made this thing with crochet. I am able to make the starting like brave thing. This is where I keep the ends that I would normally throw away, but I started putting them in the bag, and then I watched a video where someone was saying, "Don't throw these away," or rather, I saw a thumbnail of someone saying, "Don't throw these away," and I was like, "Okay, I won't." And then one of these days I'll see what I can do with it. Yeah. This is where I keep my regular sewing supplies, like really small needles and regular sewing uh, thread. And now everything is a mess around me because I pulled everything out. Well, anyway, finish of this video is the other sneaky. I may be able to use this one with the other one, which is the same width, unless I make it with the grey one. I don't know. We'll see what projects I am able to tackle this year, and if I come across like money, I will probably buy one of those packs that I saw at the shop and make myself a jumper, or try to. Like, yeah, I want one with a ribbed collar and ribbed cuffs and ribbed a waistband, because I have, or had, I think I still have it, as a jumper that was made by my cousin a long time ago, and there's a problem with it. The head hole is too tight, and it has no stretch to it. So for me to be able to shove that down my head was a real struggle when I tried to wear it. So yeah, it's a good sweater. It's a good, product, good thing. Even though she said, "Oh, I'm not very good at that," so when I gifted my cousin one of these Marcoses, it was better than this. This was just one of my less than stellar ones that I keep for myself. And I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just garter stitch all the way, and the only problem was the collar, because she has a very small head and I don't. So I may make one of these for her as a token of my appreciation. But I'll have to ask my cousin, my second cousin. This cousin is a first cousin, but she is 52 this year, which is wild. I know. We have basically the same age gap as I have with my mother, and she is my mother's niece. And this happened because my mother was born when my grandmother was already 40, so my cousin and my mother are technically milk sisters. as they were called back in the day. When two babies were nursed by the same the same person, they would be called milk siblings, uh, especially if they were white. Let's put it that way. And in this case, like, it was because my mother was born when my grandmother was already 40, 39, 40, which back in the 70s was pretty, yeah, it wasn't exactly something safe, but it happened. And my mother was born with uh, at the correct time they predicted, and she was born very big. Uh, I think 5 kilograms. Yeah, I was also a very chunky baby. I was four, four, four and a half or something kilograms. I was very big, and I wasn't born breathing. And yeah, I'm not going to go into that, but I wasn't born breathing. But they unclogged me quickly, and nothing happened. Like, I have had scans done on my brain, and they didn't detect any defects that would have come from that. Of the ADHD and the autism and all that, like, it's different and it shows in different ways. It's not like strokes, which is what shows up when you have like brain damage uh, from birth. And it's probably the same with my brother because he had the umbilical cord around his neck, and they pulled him out by C-section. Um, and he was also a very big baby, even though he was born before time. He was almost 4 kilograms as well. And by the time he was technically supposed to have been born, he was already 5. But that's normal ish. You know, normally when babies are born before the due time, and the reason why he was born before the due time is because it was supposed to be twins, but he absorbed the other twin since they were not identical twins. So my mother's stomach was really big. So the as is not uncommon with twins, he was born before the time they predicted. Um, and it was pretty hard because there was like a lot of fluid and there was not enough dilation, and yeah, C-section. But with me it was all natural, and no anesthesia, so yeah, also pretty bad. And yeah, let's not get into that, shall we? Why am I getting into this? I don't know what drew me into this. Yeah, that was. I know what it was. It was because of the age gap between my cousin and my mother, which is 1 year and 8 months. And my mother is my cousin's aunt, even though they have such a low, a small age gap, and that's because my aunt had my cousin when she was 17, and my grandmother had my mother when she was already 40. So my aunt didn't have breast milk, which is something that also happened to my cousin. And I don't know where they got that from, because my mother had plenty of milk for both me and my brother. At different times, I have a 10-year age gap between me and my brother. Sorry. This is already 30 minutes long. Why not? Come on, let's do a podcast. Uh, and hope that I can turn this off when it's over. I'm just rambling. Uh, so when my cousin was born, my grandma was still breastfeeding my mom, and since there was another baby, the breast milk kept coming, and my cousin was able to get breast milk, which was good, and especially because it was her grandma, so it wasn't like uh, outside of the family, which I suppose is good, since like the genes and the DNA are probably there. So yeah, my cousin developed nicely. But then my second cousin, which is my cousin's son, uh, had to be given formula, basically, because my cousin didn't have enough breast milk at all. And he also developed fine, but there's like a certain degree of, health benefits of breastfeeding your child, like nursing the child. That's what boobs are for. um, formula does the job, but it obviously doesn't have the antibodies and all that stuff that breast milk has. So yeah, well, my brother was also breastfed because my mom had plenty of milk. She turned out like my grandma, which didn't happen with my aunt. And then it was like my aunt was the firstborn, my mom was the lastborn, and in between it was all men. And none of them breastfed. They are all cis men. So, and also my mom looks a lot more like my grandma than my aunt does, if I'm being honest. Um, yeah, no, I'm just rambling about my family, my strange family. I'm not sure about the other side of the family. I don't have a lot of information on them. I know there were very strange characters in there. My grandma from that side was very wild, and so was my grandpa, but they weren't exactly bad people. My grandma from that side just had a drinking problem, which ended up, yeah, putting her in an early grave, basically. My grandfather from that side died of cancer, and that's because they decided to remove his stomach because it was stomach cancer, and they decided to remove it and replace it with something which in the 90s wasn't that well developed. Even now, it's a risky approach to it. Like it's a last resource thing, I suppose. Um, and yeah, it's really nice to know that when your father wishes that you die of cancer. After saying, "Oh, I love my father," blah blah blah, and then later you find out that he also stopped talking to his father for a very dumb reason, unlike me and my brother, it was actually my brother who stopped talking to him first. But people think it was the other way around, but it was really not. I was too deep into the abuse. Uh, yeah, there was abuse. Wow, shocker. It was actually my brother when he was 16 who, after one too many narcissistic fits, just said, "Yeah, that's enough." I never spoke to him again. And he's 21 now. And it's going to be 5 years this year since I stopped talking to that piece of shit. So yeah, that's always great. But I really have nothing against that side of the family. Really have nothing. It's just him. It really is just him. Because I see my uncles, the ones that are still alive, because the other ones, one of them, the first one to die, died of pneumonia and God knows what else, because he had a drinking problem. And at one point, he just said, "I'm going to drink myself to death," by these exact fucking words. Uh, yeah. I had to pause this to collect myself, finish drinking the coffee, which is already cold. Almost cold. Yeah, and my other uncle, after that one, like that thing, that narcissistic thing, was the firstborn. Then there was the uncle who died, who was the secondborn. Um, and there was another. No, the thirdborn was my uncle who is currently in jail. The fourthborn was another uncle who died when he was a baby. It wasn't sudden death, it was because he had something in his throat. And at the time, they didn't really have a way to deal with that, so he ended up dying. And then my other uncle was born to those two, like my grandfather and my grandmother. And that uncle also had drinking problems, but he currently does not. He just smokes, which is also bad, but it's not as bad as drinking, because drinking literally almost killed him. He even had a problem with his leg because of it, and it aged him quite a bit. But now he's on the right path, and I'm really proud of him. Actually, I'm really proud of him. Like he found a passion for philosophy of all things, which is really cool. Um, and that got his mind out of thinking too much, which is genetic. And now is fixated on that kind of stuff, which is good, honestly. Yeah, you're enriching your brain and you're getting your mind out of the gutter. And he now has a girlfriend who is really kind and sweet, and I hope that they last, honestly, because I have never seen him so happy and well. And we got in touch again, and I think it was because of her. And she was really pleased to meet us. And yeah. And there was another uncle, but that was born to a different woman. God knows how many siblings there are spread around in the island because my grandfather was a bit of a womanizer. Yeah. Um, so there are probably plenty of siblings. That's why I would never in a million years try to find a match on the island. I'm pretty goddamn sure that there's inbreeding in this tree line. Like, there is just no way there is no inbreeding. Like, come on, this is already 40 minutes long. Sure, why not? I'm just rambling a lot about a bunch of nothing that nobody cares about. But if you are listening to this, homie, thanks. I keep looking at this because of the big red button. I should focus on that one. Um, yeah. And there's like too many issues that are genetic, like mental health issues, that are definitely caused by inbreeding. And I'm sorry, but they just are. Like, there's just no way in hell that they are not. And on this side of the family, there is no inbreeding that I know of. Like, it's just very unlikely. Like, it would be one of those cases of maybe a far removed eighth cousin, which isn't a cousin at all. After the fifth generation, it's not a cousin anymore. And this isn't just some hee-haw, Sweet Home Alabama, Habsburg kind of thing. It's a real thing. After the fifth, there's just no more blood ties anymore. Um, so yeah, if it's a far removed eighth cousin and you find that out, you're like, mm. But then you think, I mean, we didn't even know each other before, so it's not that big of a deal. But like in rural contexts, like which is my case, I have a fifth cousin who went to school with me because she is my age. Uh, and she has a child, or going on two children right now. And those children are nothing to me right now, to me now, because they are sixth removed, so they are no longer connected to me. I mean, hypothetically speaking, if we were like close in age, which is impossible since I am over 30, ancient dinosaur. Um, if somehow it happened that I I met one of these sixth removed cousins in the wild, and it turned out that we were somewhat related, it would be like, oh, but then we would start counting the generations and we're like, oh, it's sixth, then it's fine. Like, even, you know, I still, because in my case it's like, yeah, because I'm from a rural background and everyone knows everyone, it's like, no, fam, no, literally, fam. Yeah, no, because everyone knows everyone, right? And people know these things. So yeah, for me it would be strange. But for example, I imagine that for someone who is not from the same background, like meeting a like fourth or third or even third removed cousin, and being this a similar age to them and getting with them and then finding out that they are related, they would probably be like, ugh, mm, yeah, whatever, man. You know, the probabilities of our offspring coming out wonky are not that high anymore. So why not? You know? Yeah, but for me it's like just no, because I know these people, they are close and I know their families, and yeah, it's just weird. It's just weird. It really is weird to me, man. It really is weird. Like in fiction, I'm like, come, like it's fiction. You know, it's fiction. It doesn't. Yeah, maybe it's based on reality, but it's fiction. I can deal with it when it's fiction, but then when you put it in real life, I'm like, you share like grandparents and stuff. It's weird. I don't know, man. I There are people who are into this, like kink stuff, but in a fictional context. Like when it's there's like nuance and like, oh, it's not really. It's just a role play kind of thing. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I see where you're coming from. Come on, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, but in real life, I'm like, no, no, please, no, because I keep thinking about my context, and I'm like, no. But in fiction, I'm like, yeah, sure, it's fiction. And this is not to say that fiction doesn't affect reality. It does, in some instances. And just to finish this off before it reaches 50 minutes, good God. Um, I have been planning to write an essay from the perspective of someone who is anti-fiction. Um, and doesn't like things that are taboo in real life in fiction because they think that fiction always affects reality and it's not the other way around, where fiction reality affects fiction, which is normally the case. And sometimes people just explore things in fiction where it's safe. And that doesn't mean that they do those things in real life, which is normally the case. Um, so they go on like really nasty hate campaigns against creators of these, dead doves and things like that. One instance that I can remember that fiction actually influenced reality was, strangely enough, the Hunchback of Notre Dame, because the cathedral was falling apart, and Victor Hugo loved the cathedral, and he thought that it was really a shame that it was falling apart. So he wrote a book where it was amazing, and then people found the book abroad, went to visit France, and saw that thing and went like, "Oh, this is awful. Where the hell is the beautiful cathedral that we read about. And then, oh, it's 50 minutes. Okay, fine. Let's make this a whole fucking episode that nobody's ever going to watch. Um, I just have a lot of things to say, don't I? This is what happens when in real life you just sit and listen. Yeah, you come online and talk about random things for ages, like a crazy person. So, Victor Hugo was the reason why the Notre Dame Cathedral was fixed in the first place, because at the time when he wrote the book, it was falling apart, and people from abroad went to see it after reading his book and were like, "Oh, why is it so ugly and falling apart?" And then the king was like, "Oh, god damn it! Oh, sacre bleu!" Probably like that. Oh, sacre bleu! Putain de merde! Because then he was forced to have the cathedral fixed up to appeal to tourists, since they were, you know, giving money to the country. That's the reason why the cathedral was nice to begin with, before the fire that brought it down. I think the works are still going. I'm not sure if they will try to replicate the work that was done before. They have the means to do that, and they can. They have the money and they have the resources, and I'm sure that they have talented and capable people to do those things, so they can. They just don't, because it's easier to do things simple. Uh, so that's why these days the architectural trends go like straight lines, squares, very geometrical figures, no uh, fancy things. Yeah, but they have the means, so with all the money that was donated, like on the very same day the news broke out of the fire, and yeah, all that. I hope that they built the pillar so that the spirit of Victor Hugo doesn't return to haunt the country of France, um, for eternity. Yeah. But anyway, that's been a long ass rant, ramble. Not a rant. I wasn't ranting. I just ranted for a little bit. Um, yeah, I will be back, and that's a threat. I will be back with my crazy hair. Um, and if you're seeing that, the dream catcher, I made it myself. Yeah, I didn't buy it from anyone. So, and I know what it means. I know it's a medicine. I made it for the purpose of being a medicine. That's why it's hanging right above my bed. Uh, and while I still have some some really some pretty nasty dreams, um, I think it's working overall, because um, it's like there's something that prevents the dream from becoming really nasty and cushions it, and I can still stay asleep and not be scared. It's like that thing really does catch the bad vibes. the bad energies. And yeah, and lets me stay asleep. I've been sleeping a lot better since I put that thing up there. So yeah, the medicine is working. Thanks Chippewa people from the Anishinaabe group of tribes of North America. Um, yeah. Uh, this is just really long. I hope that I can turn it off. And I will be back. You're not rid of me yet. I'm threatening you to return. uh, you can just. This is just me talking to my friend right now. You can put this in the background and listen if you want. Um, yeah. But I will be back, and that's a threat. And hopefully, I'll have an update on my knitting stuff. Not that uh, anyone cares, but my friend is pleased that I found a hobby. A hobby that is good for my mental health. Like, not that writing wasn't, but this is just a lot better because of the whole bringing things to life aspect of it. But yeah, I'll be back. This is my fourth thread in the same video. Bye bye. Let's see if I can turn this off.